It's Monday, March the 9th. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. I hope you had a great weekend. Back to work, back to the office, and back to the grind. You know, all this month of March, we are celebrating March as Women's History Month. We've got a bunch of special guests coming up throughout the month, and today is no exception. We've got Dr. Noelle Brazette Flores. Thanks for being here on the show with me. We're talking about International Women's Day 2020, which was yesterday.
Yes,
but there are a number of events happening across the city today that you're here to tell us about. And just to let folks know that you are the Associate Dean for HCC Student Engagement.
Yes.
All right. So why don't we start off talking about what we have going on at the South Campus, because we've got a day-long event going on out there.
Yes, it's not the whole day, but it's a pretty significant event. We're going to have a panel of speakers of prominent women in the community from different sectors of the community. And it's part of a partnership with the United Nations Association Houston chapter and Central, Houston Community College Central South location. And we're going to have a speakers panel. They're going to present on their areas as part of a larger global conversation, which is the exciting piece, because some of the table talks that are going to happen after the presentation and then a moderated panel, those comments and recommendations are going to come from us straight to the UN as part of six different cities that are having these global conversations around the issue of gender parity, glass ceiling, poverty, and education. And so it's going to become part of a larger conversation, which is very, very exciting. Our Houston Community College Central United Nations Association student chapter, which is one of the few in the entire country, has taken lead on that event.
And these are just some of the events that happen. And I know this one's happening at Willie Gay Hall, room 150. You can call 713-718-7356 or email nancy.cassell@hccs.edu for more information on that. But that's happening. But there's also something going on at City Hall tonight. Are you aware of that? And
yes.
What's happening there?
This is the 4th anniversary. I've been chairing this event. HCC's been a partner for the last 2 years, a major partner. And we're going to have a proclamation, a reception, some prominent speakers. Dr. Mudassir Siddiqui, President of Central, will be one of those speakers. We have the French Consul General speaking about some of the programs that they have internationally through their nonprofit extension. Texan French Alliance for the Arts and Be the Peace, Be the Hope. We have an international student speaking. We're very excited about that, and she's gender fluid, and she's originally from India and has lived all over the world.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we're doing a special an honorarium, just to give a few words. Munira Panjwani, who's a very prominent person in the Ismaili and Aga Khan community, recently passed, and Cynthia Cisneros from ABC 13 will be giving a little bit of a few words just of respect and honoring her achievements over the years. And we will have 3 city council women presenting the proclamation this year. And the mayor will be swinging by. But we want to definitely showcase the fact that we have so many city council women that are female right now.
Yeah. I mean, and really, and when you look at the judges in Harris County, there was a big wave of elections that happened with a number of not only women, but African-American women that are Harris County judges now.
It's exciting to see women at the forefront of what's happening. Even if you look at the Houston Community College Trustee Board now, we are predominantly female.
We are. That's exactly
and African-American female. So exciting things are happening. Women are starting to break into different areas. One of the things I'm going to speak about today in the panel is education. And some of the statistics I pulled out was, though, in Harris County, we still have work to do.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because I know we made some strides, but there's still work to do. So maybe you can talk about some of those things and what needs to be done.
So when you look at what's happening around education, you can't ignore poverty, right? Because so much of that is linked to socioeconomic status and whether or not we're serving those kiddos well. And if you look at who's in poverty in the Harris County region, it is predominantly women in the young adult women, and I think 25 to around 33. And then if you look at the range is about 25 to 45. That's the first group, and then
Right.
the younger adult females, and then a little bit older, approaching middle-aged females, and then boys, 7
Wow.
to 11.
Yeah.
So the women that are raising our young males
Right.
are the most impoverished in Harris County. And you also, if you look at who's in leadership in public education, of our 7 largest ISDs in the region,
Yeah.
only one has a seated female superintendent.
Which is a Houston ISD.
She's an interim.
Well, she's interim.
Yes.
So does that
Yes.
count towards a seat? Seated is one that's permanently in that
Permanent,
position.
right.
Okay.
And so
All
there's 2.
Right.
We have Goffney and Aldine, and then we have also our HISD superintendent who's interim. And that's good, but we'd like to see more gender parity there, right? Because these are the people that are making decisions about those children that are in poverty. Also, females, even though they're tending to just slightly outdo their male counterparts in associate and baccalaureate degree completion, which that's exciting.
Right.
They're going to college, the females that get there, but there's a lot of females that don't get there. So males are completing high school at a higher rate in this region.
Wow.
And they're
Never
also,
yeah.
getting their professional degrees at a higher rate.
Okay.
So if you look at earning potential
Yeah.
and being tied to education and vocation.
There's still a lot of work to done.
There's still a lot of work.
Yeah, well, that's certain. You know, and you talked about the glass ceiling earlier, one of the topics. One thing that amazes me, and when I see it and I hear it just about every day in the news, is equality with pay scales.
Mm-hmm.
We don't seem to be there yet, and that's always baffled me that we're still behind. Is that the case in the Houston and Harris County area?
Yes, it is. I mean, still, you look at different studies and
Yeah.
it changes. It's kind of fluid, but it's about 80%, I think, or 80 to 100. And so we're not there. We're not at
Right.
pay parity. And that's one of the largest indicators, right? So
Yeah.
getting our young females who might be in this generational poverty cycle of dropping out, having children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have any causality, right? But we have this correlation, and then getting them educated, getting them back into our fold, right? That's what we're
Right,
here for
sure.
at Houston Community College. And then making sure when they do find gainful employment that they're getting paid in equity to their male counterparts.
And I guess when you're getting a new job, you're never going to know unless what you ask, or is it something? Is there something if you're a female and you're applying for a job? Is that something you should ask right away? Is it on par with the rest of the pay scales when you're offered a salary?
I think that's great advice, Todd.
You
I
know,
really,
I mean, you
yes.
so you got to know,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of statistics out there about women, but what we need to be doing is having conversations
Yeah.
with women about how do you go about changing these interactions when you go for employment. And one of the guests that we're having on the panel is a career manager from
Right.
Houston Community College,
Right.
Felicia Lucas.
Yeah.
So we're excited that she's there, and we were really mindful about including HCC staff in that panel and from different sectors, because she can speak directly to that, right? How do you prepare a resume? How do you pick your field? And have you thought about, right? In our ISDs now, they're having us pick endorsements going down to 8th grade. Did you know what you wanted to
Right,
do in
yeah,
8th grade? But
yeah.
trying to gear females and their thinking more towards maybe vocations that have higher salary, and then when they get there,
Right.
what do you say? What do you do? How do you present yourself? What questions should you be asking when you go to compensation? Yeah, those are all really important tools.
Because usually it's like you're so happy you got the job.
Right.
But salary negotiation is a fact of life, you know, and it seems like everybody needs to do it, especially in this case, as you're looking towards
And I
employment.
think sometimes females discount
Yeah,
their strengths, and so they should really be saying, I'm worthy of this, I have
Right.
value, I have merit, maybe doing some research and saying, what are the average salaries for this position and in which region, and doing their homework and coming in prepared and then presenting their case and justifying, right?
Sure.
And maybe we don't condition females to do
Yeah.
that as much in our culture
Right.
as we should be.
Well, I think, yeah, I think it's worth discussion because it has to start somewhere. And it's a lot of times, if you don't know, you don't ask. And really asking is the best way to go, it sounds like. Well, it sounds like you're going to have these topics covered for folks who are going to be at the conference today, correct?
Yes.
The one at the South Campus.
Right, we have STEM, we have Dr. Safita Banu,
Yeah.
who's at Baylor in the Menninger Department of Psychiatry. We have the TxDOT District Engineer, which is over like 7 regions. I don't know, it's an exact number, but it's the entire region. She's a lovely woman, and her name is escaping me, but I will come to it. But we have Sarah Karonsky, who's United Against Human Trafficking. We have a student also, Tadia Dallo, who will be there today. We have the Honorable Tita Banks, who's the National United Nations Association Chair. So we have quite a spectrum. We have Dr. Jamal, who's from the Rice Boniak Institute of Religious Tolerance. He'll be talking about women in religion. And that's an interesting piece here.
Well, it's a very important topic to discuss now.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
sure.
is. Eliza Paul, Principal
Eliza
Engineer
Paul,
for
okay.
TxDOT, yes.
Well, thank you for bringing us up to date as what's happening. And I know we have a number of things happening across the district. We'll touch on a few of those in a moment. Dr. Noel Brzett Flores, thank you for being here
Thank you,
on the
Todd.
show.
Appreciate it.
We're going to continue on with some of the events and announcements. Throughout the month, or throughout the day rather, we bring you events and announcements here on Up to the Minute. If you have things you'd like us to talk about, simply comment below or send us a message in social media, and we'll make sure we get that covered. Last week, we had Niecy Hamilton on our show, and you're familiar with Niecy and her work, and she and a number of folks are traveling across the district talking about human trafficking.
Right.
And one thing that Harris County I wasn't aware of is that Harris County is #1 in human trafficking.
number one.
And that's not a statistic you want to be proud of. It's something that's shocking. It's a disgusting fact, but it's something that we need to address here in Harris County. And I guess one way of doing that is through education, by getting people out to talk
Right.
with people on the campuses.
So oftentimes I've done a lot of work with homeless youth.
Right.
And so there's quite often this link again to the poverty, homeless, us not having support networks in place for young females. We're also a very international city, so we tend to see that there's a lot of immigrants and refugees that get caught up in the human trafficking because, again, maybe there's no support system or a network to hold them and keep them and help them through when they have challenges come up in their life. And so working with organizations first to raise awareness, second of all, making sure that we've got supports in place and we offer pathways for people to get out of those situations and get on a pathway to success. Those are things that we can actively do.
And the way of doing that, and the only way you can get that type of assistance and help and knowledge, is by attending events like these we have across our district. I know there's a lunch and learn today at the Spring Branch campus in the Eagle Room from noon to 1 p.m., and that's happening there. Also tomorrow there's a coffee talk discussion that'll be happening at the Central Campus Learning Hub, March the 10th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and an awareness seminar at the West Loop campus Wednesday, March 11th from noon to 1 p.m. And I know we mentioned Niecy Hamilton, but you said there's also another lady that's going to be out at some of these events as well.
Well, Karonsky will be there, Ms.
Okay.
Karonsky from United Against Human Trafficking today
Okay.
at South Campus, and so we're very excited to have her. She's the education outreach
Right.
coordinator for them, and she'll have lots of information across all of the different aspects of human trafficking.
and what it all
'Cause-
involves.
Right, and
Sure.
so it's complex.
From listening and having that discussion with Niecy Hamilton, it certainly is a complex issue because in some ways people think some of it's accepted and it's not. It's wrong. And one thing, she had told me, which I think struck a chord with a lot of folks and here, was the fact that, if someone was acted inappropriately years ago, don't assume that they've gotten better over the years. Assume that that's still happening and they do need to be reported. And I think that was monumental to a lot of folks when you
Yes.
hear these statistics that are out there and simple tips to try to help people.
Yes.
We've got a number of other things happening across the district right now. Life hacking workshops, LinkedIn professional development. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional networking platform, and it's also one of the most influential social media networks, so you should know how to interact on LinkedIn, how to operate LinkedIn, how to get established on it. Well, you can learn that Tuesday, March 10th, tomorrow, at the A-Leaf Hayes Auditorium. It happens at 12:15, and I know LinkedIn and getting a job these days, it certainly is one thing that employers want to see, is an impressive profile, not only with your resume, but they want to find you online with samples of your work.
It's the social media I use.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you need to do it right. So in order to do that, we've got these life hacking workshops. One of them is happening tomorrow. Another thing we have going on, the MBDA will meet with the Port of Houston to gather for introductions and then break out into one-on-one meetings for subs and sandwiches with the Port of Houston. This is an event that involves HCC's Minority Business Development Association, or MBDA. It happens Wednesday, March 11th, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Smalls Business Development Center, that's at 2302 Fannin, and that's on the second floor. For more information, call 713-718-8974. Sub sandwiches, and learn about some of the interactions with the Port of Houston. So you want to be a filmmaker. Well, we kind of know everybody wants to be a filmmaker, at least when you own an iPhone. You think you make films all the time, you know, filming the whole family. Well, you can actually get some official learning through a filmmaking series. Local producer Remy Carter will be discussing the Houston entertainment industry. Filmmaking learning series happens Wednesday, March 11th, noon to 2 p.m. at the HCC Northwest A-Leaf Hayes campus. And at Screening Room Theater B301, Wednesday, March 11th, noon to 2 p.m. So, want to be filmmakers? Get out there for that. You can get a hold of Michael Cohn for more information of that at 713-718-6523. And we've also got The Real, Advertising at the Edge of the Apocalypse. That's happening Wednesday, March 11th at the Spring Branch campus, 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. in the Eagle Room. And that one is a film that suggests the compelling answer that few have been willing to contemplate, the nature of our advertising and marketing system. If you're into marketing, this sounds like something you might want to get out there and take a look at. We've got a number of other events. One of them is going to be happening, Women in Industry. Are you familiar with this?
I am not.
Okay, so this one's going to be happening, Women in Industry, Friday, March 20th. That's while we're on spring break. That's going to be 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Moody Gardens Convention Center in Galveston, the womeninindustryconference.com. And that apparently you can learn about high-paying careers in the petrochemical industry.
One of those fields that we need to encourage
we talked about,
women to go into.
because we're always trying to get more women engineers.
Yes.
And there's certainly some great programs for that here at HCC. But you can learn more about this at this Women in Industry Conference happening from 8 to 3 p.m. Friday, March 20th at the Moody Gardens Galveston Convention Center. So that's happening. A number of events across the district to try to, get the word out about industries that women can get involved in. You know, one of the stories we've been doing here at HCCTV and really at the district is the fact that in the next 10 years, the Houston area and the America is going to be have a shortage of engineers.
Yes.
A very substantial shortage of engineers. And HCC has programs specifically to address this with affordable degree plans, not only for women, for all of our students, you know. But I know that's one thing that we need to do is, I don't think folks know that we need to replace these engineers as they're exiting the workforce.
And a good place to start, if you're a female and you're not sure, is the workforce programs in construction management, and some of those basic mechanical and construction trade certifications, because that lays the foundation for future engineering courses or some basic applied science courses. If you're looking at gender differences in employment, that engineering field is so small for females and so large for males, and you know the females are still overwhelmingly choosing educational careers, K-12, nursing, which is a good field. I mean, it's in the health science field, but we like to see that shift occur. A lot more recruiting those females down to 8th grade for these endorsements and bringing them through our pathway.
And it's certainly, you know, an engineering, everybody thinks, well, it's just the oil industry. Engineers are needed across really across the whole industry, you know. All industries are needing engineers, from designing this to building that, from construction to petrochemical, you know, to analytics. I mean, engineers are needed.
Right. Software engineering, you could be
Sure.
a structural engineer for TxDOT. We have, you know, Ms. Paul Cumming, the district area engineer for TxDOT,
Right.
a female, and there's just, you could work for Walmart and be an engineer now, because if they do their own in-house maintenance, and
Yeah,
there's structural
yeah.
issues there within their facilities, and there's just so many things you don't think about.
No,
that
you
this
really
is
don't, because you
broad.
just automatically think construction and oil industry, but really it's so much broader than that.
It is, yes.
Well, if you have information or you have any interest in engineering, you can always visit hccs.edu/engineering and take a look at all of our offerings there, including the academies we have across the district that offer programs where you literally go to HCC for 2 years and then off to like Texas A&M or UT Tyler or one of the other partner programs, and then they can save sometimes $20,000 in tuition. It's an incredible
Absolutely.
program. Dr. Noel Bizet Flores, thanks for being here on the show and,
Thank you, Todd.
enlightening us about all the things that are happening, especially today. I know you got to get out to the South Campus for a
Yes.
big event out there.
Exciting day.
And thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. Have anything you'd like to see here on the show, make sure you comment below or send us a message through social media. For Up to the Minute, I'm Todd Duplantis. We'll see you tomorrow.